What is the greatest treasure in your house? Is it the cars? Is it the money? Is it your reputation or your many achievements? The answer is not in any of those ones at all. The greatest treasure in your house or around your house is that child, those children. We live in a generation where people celebrate possessions more than people. Careers are celebrated beyond character, and people celebrate success beyond stewardship. Yet God places extraordinary value on children. He does not see them as burdens, He does not see them as interruptions, He does not see them as mistakes, but He sees them as His own heritage, even describing them as mighty arrows. So today, the topic will be children as mighty arrows. That is what I'll be teaching on today. To begin with, what is an arrow? An arrow is not designed to remain in the hand forever. No. By the way, an arrow is actually an instrument of war. It is shaped, it is sharpened, it is directed and released towards a purpose. In the same way, every child carries divine potential. Every child carries a prophetic purpose. Every child carries within him or her something to use to impact the world, to make generational impact. An arrow without direction, becomes dangerous. Similarly, any child that is not properly guided becomes vulnerable. And so tragedy happens not when children are born into poverty, as worse as that is, but it actually happens when they grow without direction, when they grow without love, when they grow without discipline, when they grow without godly counsel. The future of families, organizations, and even nations is hidden in the children that God has put in those places. And so, how they are raised today determines what becomes of them tomorrow. Who is a child? That's the second question. The first question I ask is, what is an arrow? The next question is, who is a child? Now, a child is not merely a biological product. A child is not just a small human being or a dependent person. A child is a seed of destiny. A child is a carrier of divine potential. A child is a precious life entrusted by God to adults. And that's the reason why a child is also a future leader in a formative stage. And as such, requires protection, requires nourishment, requires growth, requires training. Generally speaking, children are very impressionable. So, what they see, what they hear, what they experience, and what they repeatedly encounter eventually shapes their thinking. It shapes their confidence, it shapes their identity, and ultimately shapes their future decision. And this is why a broken child eventually grows to become a wounded adult, wounding every person and every place that comes across him or her. Children are special gifts from God. They are souls with eternal value. And that was why Jesus Christ says, "Suffer not these little ones to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of God." Now, when the Bible says children are the heritage of the Lord, it therefore means that children first belong to God before being yours or being mine. They are God's heritage. They belong to God. Therefore, as parents, you are not the owner of the child. You are not the owner of those children. As a parent, I'm not the owner of those child. I'm not the owner of that child. I'm not the owner of those children. We are just stewards. And for whatever that is not your own, you have to be careful of the way you handle it because you are going to give account. Similarly, for every child, every children that God has put directly or indirectly around you, you are going to give account for all of them. And therefore, a child is not to be abused, a child is not to be neglected, a child is not to be molested, a child is not to be discarded, a child is not to be emotionally damaged. So once you have been privileged by God to be an adult, you have grown to a certain age, either as biological parent, you have experienced maturity, you have become a guardian, you have become a parent, you have become a leader, you have become an educator, you have become a mentor. You have grown to a certain age, you qualify to become an adult. And as an adult, you are expected to be able to care for children. Every adult, and this is the truth, every adult influences a child one way or the other. Knowing that adult influences children one way or the other, the question now will be, what is our responsibility to children as an adult? What is your responsibility to children? There are quite a number of them. However, I'm going to dwell on just four of them. The first responsibility is love. Children thrive in an environment of love. Many adults today still struggle because they grew up feeling unwanted, feeling unimportant, feeling as if they were interruption in the places they found themselves. So children thrive in an environment of love because with love they feel secured, with love they feel confident, with love they become emotionally stable. Timothy was shaped through the godly influence and love he enjoyed from his mother and his grandmother. The second responsibility of adults to children is training, whether they are your biological children, your spiritual children, or children around you, you are responsible to train them. So, in addition to providing money, you should provide mentorship. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. From that passage of the Bible is very clear that there is a way that a child should go, and the child cannot find that way except if being taught. If the child is well taught, he will be able to find that way and will go up. We ascend up the ladder of life. But if the child is not well taught, the child will be left to wander and then miss the way and possibly go down in life. When you also read the book of Proverbs 29, verse 15, Proverbs 29:15, the Bible said, the rod and reproof gives wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame. It therefore means that a child cannot just find his way except being guided. And this guidance, this training will involve the use of the rod and the reproof as occasion demands. The wisdom now is knowing which to apply per time. Is it the rod? Is it the reproof? Is it both of them? Because with the wisdom, you'll be able to know what is most appropriate for the psychological development of this child per time, and know how that can be applied to make that child a completely well-developed child. The training to be given includes values, includes character, includes spiritual foundation, includes essential life skills and discipline. Undisciplined children often struggle in life with authority, with responsibility and self-control. The tool for preparing children to face the world is training. The third responsibility of adults towards children is protection. Every child needs to be protected from abuse, from violence, from wrong association, from harmful media influence, and from destructive ideologies. As a matter of fact, part of protection for children is creating and culturing a positive environment for them to live, for them to thrive, and become what they were ordained to be. Sights, sounds, words, experiences, imagination, and all of these are environmentally influenced. Life itself is environmentally dependent. A society that fails to protect children today is actually destroying its own future. Why? Because children are the leaders of tomorrow. The fourth responsibility of adults towards children is discovery of purpose. Every child is gifted differently. Some are gifted in leadership, some are gifted in music, some are gifted in communication, some are gifted in compassion, some are gifted in creativity, name it, in several areas of life. It is your responsibility as an adult to help children to discover their purpose and not to force them into your personal ambition. You don't need to compel your child to become the doctor you became or the doctor you could not become. You don't need to compel that child to become the lawyer you never became. No, it's not supposed to be. You are to help that child to discover himself or herself. You are a steward. You are not the owner of those children. Verse 5 of Psalm 127 now says, happy is the man that has his quiver full of them, describing the experience of a man who has children who are well brought up, who are well trained. And that's because they bring blessings, they bring strength, they bring happiness, ultimately, they bring future legacy. He says, it is the children who have been well nurtured, who have been well trained, that will talk with the enemy, that will fight with the enemy at the gate. So, as an adult now, you may have the strength, you have the stamina, you have the capacity to be at the gate of politics to negotiate your way out, to be at the gate of finance to negotiate your way out, to be at the gate of business to negotiate your way out, to be at the gate of a career and negotiate your way out. But the truth is that you will not always have the strength to be at the gate forever. A time is coming you will not be able to stand at the gate. It is the children that have been so trained, either directly or indirectly, that will do the standing for you, that will help to protect your interests, that will help to see that your ideologies, your perspective, your mindset, your belief system continues to thrive, even though by age you have gone out of the way of fighting at the gate. You now see the reason why you need to really invest in children, why you need to give them that attention. It is the children who have been raised directly or indirectly, whom you are responsible for, that will have to stand at the gate and defend your interests. Many societal problems began with children that were ignored. So, as I conclude, to every parent, to every teacher, to every mentor, to every leader, and indeed every adult out there, you are responsible to raising next generation of leaders. Do not merely raise children to survive. Raise them to become mighty arrows that will transform nations, that will transform the world. Speak life into them, guide them intentionally, protect their minds, model integrity before them, and above all, lead them towards God and purpose. And there's a call to action. Find a child around you today, identify one, intentionally go ahead to invest love, invest wisdom, invest values and encouragement into that child. That is your way of building that child into a mighty arrow that can stand at the gate tomorrow. I want to hear from you that you have done that. God bless you.